Today we're diving into the DOJ's legal win over those $800 million in federal grants. Have you followed how this all started?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Those grants were initially pulled back during the Trump administration, right?
Exactly. The DOJ tried to take them back from jurisdictions that didn't comply with certain immigration policies.
Right, the so-called sanctuary jurisdictions. The legal battle's been going on for years.
And now a federal judge has sided with the DOJ, saying they can claw those grants back. That's a big move.
It definitely is. I wonder what the immediate impact will be for those cities and states.
Probably a major budget headache. Some of these governments rely on federal funds for law enforcement.
True. Cutting that money could mean less funding for police, training, maybe even community programs.
There's also the political angle. Do you think this sets a precedent for future federal grant battles?
It could. The ruling reinforces that the federal government can attach strings to grant money.
But isn't there a risk? States might feel pressured to comply even if they disagree with federal policy.
For sure. It kind of blurs the line between state and federal authority.
Some critics say it's almost like financial blackmail, forcing compliance through the wallet.
That's a strong word, but I get it. On the flip side, the DOJ argues they're just upholding federal law.
Do you think this could affect other types of federal funding beyond just law enforcement grants?
Possibly. If this principle holds, future administrations could use it for education or healthcare funds too.
That could open a huge can of worms. Imagine states having to meet all sorts of conditions just to get money.
Yeah. Suddenly, grant applications would feel like high-stakes negotiations.
I'm curious, do you think cities will try to challenge this ruling, or is this the end of the line?
I doubt it's over. There's always the appeals process, and this issue is pretty politically charged.
It's interesting how something like a grant can turn into a battle over big constitutional questions.
Federalism in action, right? The tension between national power and local autonomy never really goes away.
I wonder how this affects public perception of the DOJ. Does it look like they're just enforcing the law, or is it seen as overreach?
Probably depends on who you ask. Supporters see it as necessary. Critics see it as punishing local governments.
There's the practical side, too. Law enforcement agencies might have to adjust their plans mid-year.
That's tough. Imagine planning a project and suddenly your funding is yanked.
Like throwing a huge party and finding out last minute the caterer isn't showing up.
Hopefully without the hangover. But seriously, it creates uncertainty for agencies and communities.
Do you think this will make local governments less willing to depend on federal grants in the future?
Maybe. They might start looking for more stable funding sources, or at least diversify where the money comes from.
Could that lead to more local taxes or budget cuts?
Possibly. It's a delicate balance. Nobody likes higher taxes, but services have to be paid for somehow.
And then voters start weighing in. Public safety, immigration policy, taxes, all getting mixed together.
Which just raises the stakes for local elections. These kinds of decisions can ripple through a community.
There's also the question of priorities. Some cities might double down on their policies even if it costs them.
Sticking to their principles no matter what. Others might decide the funding is just too important to lose.
It becomes a kind of moral versus practical dilemma.
Exactly. And the debate probably won't end with this one court decision.
Do you think we'll see more federal attempts to tie money to policy compliance in the next few years?
I'd bet on it. The trend seems to be using funding as leverage for all sorts of issues.
That could get messy fast, especially if different administrations have different priorities.
It's like a tug of war where the rope is made of dollar bills.
That's a visual. But it captures the stakes here. Real money, real consequences.
And at the end of the day, it's not just politicians or judges affected, but everyday people.
Right? Police staffing, community services, safety nets, all could feel the impact.
Which circles back to why these legal battles matter. It's not just paperwork, it's real life.
I guess the bigger question is, should federal funding come with strings attached?
That's the heart of the debate. Some say yes, to ensure national standards. Others say it undermines local control.
And with every new ruling, the line shifts a little bit more.
Makes you wonder what the next big test case will be.
For now, I think we'll be seeing a lot of cities reviewing their grant agreements and their policies.
And maybe a few sleepless nights for budget directors out there.
No doubt. If I were in their shoes, I'd be triple-checking every line item.
Hopefully the dust will settle soon, but somehow, I doubt it.
Well, that's all for today. We'll keep an eye on how this develops.
And maybe next time we'll have some good news for those budget directors.
Thanks for tuning in. If you've got thoughts on federal grants and policy, let us know.
Until next time, stay curious and check your funding sources.